Okay, so Cooper Glover, 1972, back here with some more Italian movies. For this particular video, it'll probably be a short video. Um, it's Antonioni. Um, I have a few of his movies. I'm not quite sure how many movies he made, but these are the ones I have. This first one I bought. When did I buy it? The summer sale in 2016 in July and August, or July it was. I bought this. My friends watched it, but I haven't watched it. It's a Blu-ray that I have, and it's one of his earlier movies from '55. This major early achievement by Michelangelo Antonioni bears the first signs of the cinema-changing style, for which he would soon be world famous. La Amici is a brilliantly observed, fragmentary depiction of modern bourgeois life, conveyed from the perspective of five Turinese women, four of whom are trying to make sense of the fifth suicide attempt, and finding themselves examining their own troubled romantic lives in the process. With suggestions of the theme of modern alienation and the fastidious visual abstraction that would define such later masterpieces of his as La Ventura, La Eclisse, and Red Desert, Antonioni's film is a devastating take on doomed love and fraught friendship. And it's got a new 2K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack, new conversation with scholars David Forgox and Kieran Pincus on the film's themes, new interview with scholar Eugenia Paulisci on the importance of fashion in Antonioni's work, and an essay by film scholar Tony Pipolo. So it's just one of those movies I haven't got around to watching yet, as simple as that. Not because I don't want to watch it, it's just that, I've got tons of movies to take a look at. And I guess this is a booklet form here. I don't even know if I looked inside of this before I just opened it right here in front of everybody. So, and it's got a photo inside here. I think it's a photo. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so next up, all these films I have seen of Antonioni's. So this one, this is another one of my favorites, La Ventura, which means journey or adventure, I believe. I don't know if our English translations exactly capture what the title means, but it's basically about these wealthy people. I think they're all maybe their parents are wealthy, and that's how they come to be wealthy themselves. But there's a character named Sandro, played by Gabriele Ferzetti. He was in Once Upon a Time in the West, which that was, I wasn't wild about that movie. That's by Sergio Leone. And then another film he was in was On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the James Bond movie. He played Draco in that. But anyways, he plays Sandro in this one. And he's engaged to this woman named Anna. And she has a friend named Claudia. And the plot basically is they go to this, they decide, three of them and some friends of theirs, they decide to go boating and then Anna disappear. They appear at this. They get to this island in the sea, and Anna disappears, and there's some searching for her, and then Claudia and what's his name? I just said it and I forgot it. His name is Sandro. And Claudia's played by Monica Vitti, who's just beautiful and very good actress. Antonioni and Bergman, like I think actresses say that they're like the greatest directors of women because they portray women the way women perceive themselves as being portrayed, rather than like Fellini. Fellini's a great director, but I guess like some people might think he's more subjectifying women, like worshiping them and not seeing them for who they are as real people, But Fellini's a great director, and two of my favorite films of all time are La Dolce Vita. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, and 8½. And I love those films, incredibly. But I think actresses and other people have considered Antonioni and Bergman as less fantastical about women, but more down to earth, practical view of how women should or really perceive things, and more maybe because Bergman had a sister, and that might have made him see things that way. So, but anyways, so you have that, and that's on the front there. On the Blu-ray, you have, and I don't have the Blu-ray, but I've seen pictures, or I've seen it at like Barnes and Noble. You see Claudia on the Blu-ray. And you have the first DVD there, and the second with the special features. You got audio commentary by film historian Gene Youngblood. And you have, on disc 2, you have Antonioni Documents and Testimonials, a 58-minute documentary by Gianfranco Mingozzi. Writings by Antonioni, read by Jack Nicholson, plus Nicholson's personal recollections of the director. Theatrical trailer and restoration demonstration, and a reprint of Antonioni's statements about La Ventura, circulated after the film's premiere at the 1960 Cannes Film Festival, and a new essay by Jeffrey Noel Smith. So, next up, this is one of my favorite movies, and this is my personal favorite of Antonioni's. He made a trilogy of movies. Technically, he made a tetralogy. The three I like a lot, but the fourth one he made, I don't own and I don't really like that much, which is Red Desert. I think it's just too artsy for its own good. It just doesn't work, in my opinion. Red Desert was his first color film, and it just doesn't. It's kind of dull, and it just seems kind of awkward. It just doesn't gel, for me. But the second movie he made with the trilogy, or the tetralogy, if you want to see it that way, is La Notte, meaning the night. And this stars Marcello Mastroianni, who was in La Dolce Vita and 8½. And his wife in this film is played by Jeanne Moreau, who's a famous French actress. She was in a film by Louis Malle called Elevator to the Gallows. Really, that was a really good film. And that featured a score by Miles Davis, one of my favorite musicians. This particular movie, Mastriani is a character, is a writer, and at the start of the film, they are visiting a friend of theirs in the hospital who's going to die, and basically the film covers Marcello Mastroianni's character's faithfulness and maturity towards how he approaches relationships. Like I think it's a good way to say it. Like maybe he's selfish. Maybe that's a thing, or maybe he can't be faithful. He's a famous writer, and I like it because it's got a nice jazz score in it, and it's the Jean Moreau character sort of wanders around a little bit, which is kind of interesting, and Marcello Mastroianni character and her end up at a party at the end of the film, and it sort of reminds me of the Ice Storm, the ending of it, but because the power goes out, I think like the power goes out on the Ice Storm. That's a film by Ang Lee, and but anyways, yeah, that's a really good film. I don't know if I'm really sufficiently explaining that enough for you, but if that's a really good film, and I highly recommend it. And I think I looked at this website where they talk about directors sort of bashing other directors. It was like with quotes. Maybe it was Taste of Cinema's website. I'm not sure, but I think Bergman was putting down Antonioni. But there's one film that he really loves of Antonioni's, and that's La Notte. So, and then you got the third in the series, which is La Eclisse, or The Eclipse, and Monica Vitti's back. Monica Vitti's is a lesser character in the La Notte film, and here she's back, and she's with the love interest in this particular film is Alain Delon, who's a famous French actor. In this particular movie, you can see it in all three particular movies that all three men are basically immature, and they don't know how to act in a mature way, and maybe they're selfish. Maybe that's a good term to use. But this particular movie, he sort of, if you watch the ending of this particular movie, there's none of the actual characters are in the scene. And I can't really remember exactly why that is. But in this particular movie, Monica Vitti dresses up in like African costume because one of her friends has gone to Africa, and that might be a little racy. That particular scene where she dresses up, she puts like makeup on. And that might be a little controversial, I would say, But and all three of these particular movies, L'Avventura, La Notte, and La Eclisse, came out in the what do you call it? The 60s. Yeah. So see, it's getting dark, so I'm gonna turn my light on here. There we go. Um, I don't know. I hope that wasn't too dark. I think it was fairly well lit, but it's getting dark now. So we get to the next film. This is a little further up in his career. This came out in, I don't know, late 70s, I believe, or maybe no, it was about 75, I believe. I can't remember, but it's a good movie. The Passenger with Jack Nicholson and Maria Schneider. And I'll be showing another film with Maria Schneider a little further up in another video. Maybe you can guess what that is. It's Last Tango in Paris, This was just a flyer that came with it. Oh, and so a thing to mention about Antonioni is that he makes these films where he sometimes he shows the backs of people's bodies, like the back of their head and the back of their back, just their back, not their front side. And there's a reason he does that. I don't recall why exactly. Maybe to make us voyeurs ourselves. I don't know. I don't know if I can say really. And then there's shots he does, like in La Ventura, where he'll have the camera one place. No characters will be in it, no actors. It'll be just a building. And then maybe 30 seconds later, he'll pan the camera over and you'll see actual people, So I think when he made La Ventura, it was like a kind of a shock to people because they'd never seen cinema like that. And I think it was a shock at Cannes in that way. But it got a special award because it established a new kind of filmic language. So, that's what makes it an interesting movie, I think. And this movie, it's okay. It's a Blu-ray. I watched it last year, and I got it maybe the end of 2015, maybe. I think. You know what? I think I showed that movie. I think I showed this Identification of a Woman. It just has a trailer with it, and just the movie. And again, it's basically about the theme of maturity and taking responsibility. Because the character, I think the main character, I think he's a director. The woman he likes. Yeah, it's an aging director, I guess. I think he gets her pregnant. I'm not sure. Then there's this great scene in the fog where the cars where the characters are on a road and there's all this dense fog around them. Oh, and The Passenger, that's an interesting movie. Jack Nicholson finds this dead guy, and he takes, I believe, maybe his driver's license or something, and establishes himself as that person. So he's taking another person's identity and passing himself off as that person. So that's a really good movie, and there's a great shot at the end. It's a long shot. It's at least 5 minutes long, and so it's worth it even for just watching for that shot alone, But the film is a masterpiece. It might have, I don't know if it won any awards. won the Bodil Award in '76 for Best European Film, and was nominated for the Golden Palm at the '75 Cannes Film Festival. So, anyways, that's The Passenger, and that's that for Antonioni. And then we're going to go on to the rest of my Italian movies. So see you in the next video.